So Melanie, you can start the meeting, and we have, I think we have one guest, two guests. We have Anna and Benjamin in the room. So over to you. You muted. When you speak, take this, we can see the others. Melanie, it's over to you now.
Are we starting?
Yes.
Started.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to all of you. I am live in Bad Hofgestein. I hope you can see the beautiful mountains behind me. Not sure if you can. It's a beautiful day. I hope it is for you all in Vienna or wherever you are, in your home office or in AO 612. I'm looking around to see if we have any guests today. Do we have any guests in the room, Tom?
Yes, we do.
Yes. You're joining us again. You have one more time you can join us, and then we hope you decide to make a decision to be an official member. So today, fellow Toastmasters, as far as the business section goes, we have decided in the XCOM to continue hybrid meetings. I know they're quite challenging, but it makes it easier for those who are on vacation or home to still join us. And those that can come in person, we will be as well in AO 612, I believe. So I'd like to hand over the microphone.
I think we've got another visitor.
Oh, we do. Oh, I see up here. Yes. Maybe I could have Tom or Tristan do the formal introduction because I don't see a name or anything. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us how you found out about Toastmasters? I'm muting myself.
Benjamin Bento, I'm part of the IE here, and I was actually part of the Toastmasters the last some sessions. I'm back now as a consultant, so as a guest and hopefully next time as a member.
Thank you very much. And that's it. That's all the guests.
Thank you. I also have a request. If you're not speaking, can you mute your microphone? Maria Teresa, you're not muted. And maybe mute the microphone in the room until someone speaks because there's a lot of background sound. So Maria Teresa, I'd like to hand over the control of the meeting to you because I'm not sure who you've decided to make as our Toastmaster of the day. I really don't need to take this role. Maybe someone else who's there in person can do it, Tom or Tristan. But Maria Teresa, you're going to be the general evaluator.
I plan to do it, Melanie, but I would like somebody from the room or somebody online to volunteer to be the general evaluator.
Okay, I do it.
And we also need an evaluator for PNR.
Melissa, would you like to take that role? I see you sitting there so quietly in your
Already
office.
it's for Marion. Maybe we could offer it
Oh,
to
she
somebody
is.
else. Yes.
Well, Pinar is my mentee, so I could do it. Unless Lily would like to. Or Lily, you're grammarian, right? You can tell it's summer because we're not very organized. We're not usually like this, but we're going to get better.
This is on purpose, actually. I wanted to mention, you know, it's difficult if you're trying to organize a meeting and nobody wants to do anything. I want you to see what kind of chaos we have. Please, please sign up to come to the meeting and sign up, please, to take roles. This is what we end up with. This is what I wanted you to see. It's a planned chaos. Okay, so who's going to be general evaluator?
Okay. And
Is it Tristan?
yes.
General evaluator? Okay, thank you, Tristan. Maria Teresa, please take note. And Lily, would you like to evaluate PNR or would you like me to do it?
I can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Maria
we're ready
Teresa,
to go?
we're ready to go.
Fellow
Smile.
Toastmasters, distinguished guests. It's another Tuesday. It's the fourth Tuesday of the month. So what does that mean? There's a Toastmaster meeting going on. And nowadays we're doing it hybrids. We have recently started having meetings where people are physically present in A0671 and also online. This, of course, presents certain challenges, but I think we're up to it. I think the biggest challenge I see at the moment is having people coming forward to take roles. Toastmasters is not a spectator sport. You all are supposed to be committed to developing yourself in Toastmasters. And that means you have to sometimes go outside of your comfort zone. Some of our people who are relatively new, I encourage you to approach your mentors. If you have hesitancy about taking on a leadership role, you know, a Toastmaster of the day, a general evaluation, it's not hard, but you have to start someplace. So I think without any further ado, I turn over to the general evaluator for today's meeting, who happens to be Toastmaster Tristan. Tristan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. And it's my great pleasure to introduce our team today for the evaluation part of the meeting. Our first role is taken by Melissa, who will be the grammarian, and I turn over to her to share with us the word of the day.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, everybody. So the word of the day is vicissitude. That's a noun, and it means a change of circumstances or fortune, typically one that is unwelcome or unpleasant. It can also mean an alternation between opposite or contrasting things. For example, the vicissitude of the seasons. Another example, though he had many vicissitudes in life, nothing will stop him from becoming an entrepreneur. So I can say that though we have many vicissitudes in our Toastmasters hybrid meetings, nothing can stop us from making Toastmasters always successful.
Thank you.
And this completes the introduction of the word of the day.
Thank you.
Tristan, you are muted. I cannot hear anything.
Vicissitude. I don't think they can.
You can unmute your camera on your phone that you're looking into now, Tristan. We see your side profile. That's a stronger camera with the sound.
That's why you don't have.
It was I echoed.
Okay, the second, the account will be who is here at the end of the week. She will keywords like app and other sections. Our account will also be revamped. And the evaluation it will be actually it will be leading will be the evaluation and our timekeeper is Toastmaster Jessica, who will be doing the you probably should be sitting here to be close to the camera to be able to do the timing. And on that note, this completes the introduction of the evaluation team for today. And I turn back the control of the meeting to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Maria Teresa.
Toastmaster Tristan, could I have a point of order? Who is our timer for today? And can we see that person? And can we see the cards? Hello there. Thank you. That's Jessica, isn't it? It's nice to see you after such a long absence. Welcome back. We've missed you. Okay, so the timer knows what they're doing. Everybody else knows what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm improvising. But we still, despite technical challenges, lack of people signing up to do things, are going to have a Toastmaster meeting, because Toastmasters is about public speaking. Unfortunately, we had one person drop out at very short notice, but we do have a prepared speaker who is ready to go on. And I am so proud of Pinar. You're a relatively new member of our club, but you already put yourself into full swing with Pathways, and you're going to be delivering a project today in the Pathways program. Pinar, I also appreciate your honesty. At the last minute, you were scheduled to speak, but you sent me an email saying you weren't prepared. Could you do it later? Always, things come between. You can't always stick, things are not set in stone, but I'm delighted to see you speaking today. Before you take the floor, can I ask the evaluator to give the objectives of Pinar's speech?
So, Pinar, if you'd like to give me anything further, I'm just reading from the e-speak that you are giving a speech on presentation mastery number 1, 2, evaluation and feedback, present a speech on any topic. So I assume that's the second speech after the icebreaker, where you are using all of the feedback from the last presentation. So I don't have a copy of that in front of me, but I will do my best to give the feedback on your presentation.
Are you finished, Lily?
Thank you.
Okay, fine. So I know you're nervous, Pinar. I remember my second speech. My palms were sweating. I was very nervous, but I know you will do a fine job. The title of your speech out of a Pathways project, Presentation Mastery, is Mothers in History. And for the benefit of the timer, the target time is 5 to 7 minutes. So now, without any further ado, it's my great pleasure to welcome Pinar for Mothers in History. Toastmaster Pinar.
Yeah. Dear Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and esteemed guest, today I will give a speech about mothers in history. You probably already know some of them, and the reason for deciding to talk about this subject will be explained end of my speech. Let's start with Marie Curie. Although scientist Marie Curie is best known for being the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, she also raised her 2 young daughters alone after her husband died in an accident. One of their daughters, Irene Juliette Curie, went on to co-win the Nobel Prize in chemistry with her husband for their own work with radioactivity. Juliette Curie said her mother instilled hard work and flexibility in her children. That one must do some work seriously and must be independent and not merely amuse oneself in life. This our mother has taught us always, but never that science was the only career worth following. Nancy Edison, the youngest of Nancy Edison's 7 kids, was Thomas Alva Edison. Although some stories about his mother's virtues were most likely exaggerated, we do know that rather than give up on his education, Nancy Edison decided to homeschool her son after his teacher deemed him like adult. Edison, who may just have been dyslexic in a time before that learning disorder was studied or understood, said of her, "My mother was the making of me. She was so true, so sure of me, and I felt I had something to live for, someone I must not disappoint." Lu Xiaowang was a poor, uneducated woman who supported all herself by scavenging through the trash in Yanha, China. But starting in 1972, she adopted or rescued 30 babies she found in trash. The cause of the Cultural Revolution and later China's one-child policy and extreme poverty, especially in rural areas, mean that some parents dump their unwanted babies in the garbage. These children need love and care. They are all precious human lives. Zia Wang, who had one biological daughter at the time she began rescuing infants, told the press 2012, "I do not understand how people can leave such a vulnerable baby on the streets." Irina Sandler, she lived between 1910 to 2008, was a Polish employee at the Warsaw Social Welfare Department, who smuggled almost 2,500 Jewish children out of the Warsaw Ghetto during the Holocaust, saving their lives. Using the code name Yolanta, he gave these children false identification documents, established temporary non-Jewish identifiers for them, and placed them in convents, orphanages, and Christian homes. Although the Nazis arrested her, tortured her, uh, and sentenced her to execution, she survived because the Gestapo was Bible. She didn't give them any information about the whereabouts of the children or the inner workings of her smuggling operation. A mother of three kids herself, and Sandler received Poland's Order of the White Eagle Award in 2003. Filiz Tanrıverdi. She is mother of three, worked as a nurse until her retirement age, and she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when she was in her 30s. She followed some principle to raise her kids, such as never give up, even facing some ups and downs during the life, like speaking about her manic or depressive attacks. Never judge people regarding how they look like. Always respect kids' decision, even she was disagree. Always treats all kids specially and lovely. And honesty is the biggest value for her. She's my mom, and of course, she is one of remarkable mothers in history. Anyway, the discipline of being an engineer and instinct of motherhood encouraged me to make a framework about being mother. Of course, this approach is specific for me. There is no industrial truth or falseness about this subject. And I just want to share that the pillars of this framework are love, unconditional love, respect, independently from their age, accomplishments, looks, etc. Believe in kids, encourage them regardless of thoughts of others. Why did I like to speak about this topic? Now I'm in the 7 month of pregnancy with my numbers too, and I realized that I can define myself as a kind of less experienced mother for feeding, taking care, showing love, handling vicissitudes. Sorry for my pronunciation. Vicissitudes. I just learned this word today. However, what about delivering values, giving the right message, and so I mean, so thinking and organizing this speech gave me a chance to search or organize my thoughts, which way I should follow, or how should I guide my kids. Thank you all for this opportunity and your attention and your kind introduction. Thank you very much. Back to you, dear Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pina. No, you don't have to thank us. It is us who must thank you. And I'm sure you're glad it's over, correct? But it's not over for the rest of us. Although in the evaluation section of the meeting, you will get an evaluation. Everybody in the room and online has an opportunity to provide Pina feedback on her speech. I believe our Sergeant at Arms has distributed a ballot or basically something for those in the room to write that down. We'll figure out how to get that to Pinar. But otherwise, those online, you have 1 minute to compose your thoughts and give them to Pinar on her speech. So Madam Timer, can you please give us 1 minute?
And she hears it.
Come on. Yes, okay.
Ah, sorry.
Yep.
Hi, good afternoon.
Wait.
Okay.
Maria Teresa.
Okay, 1 minute is up.
I don't see a red card, but that seems like a very long minute to me. In any event, let's move on to the next section. Thank you. Let's move on to the next section of a Toastmaster meeting, and that happens to be the table topics. Some people love them, some people hate them. Why? Because you don't have any chance to prepare. You don't know what you will be asked, and you have to stand up and speak on your feet. So, in order to do this, we have a table topics master, and it's my great pleasure to welcome Toastmaster Ivana, who will be delivering those questions that we must answer. And may I ask that we try to somehow get rid of some of this interference? It's very hard to hear at the moment. But I give the floor to Toastmaster Ivana.
I think
Mute yourself, Maria Teresa.
we are. I don't think. Can you try to get around to see the configuration? You mean here? No.
The speakers are there and the speakers on this one. Those speakers
So,
are working.
let's see, what is it? Internal microphone, what else could we use? There is only the internal.
Do you hear us?
So now
I think they were hearing as well.
yeah,
And
before
suddenly
they heard
stopped.
us. Yeah.
I think we just accused that.
Yeah, the problem is going to be when we can.
Oh, but here I will mute.
Speakers on.
There you go.
Good afternoon, distinguished Toastmasters and guests. My name is Ivona and I'm Table Topics Master today. Today's session is inspired by all comments by Maria Teresa that does so much effort to help the club to grow and us to be professional speakers. I hope that new members and guests will learn from experienced members and that experienced members can share some knowledge with us today. The first topic is prepared especially for Melanie, that delivers always great evaluations. And to deliver evaluations is a really big challenge. So Melanie, what is your strategy and what are your tricks for delivering great evaluations?
Thank you, Table Topic Master Ivana. I hope you all can hear me. You can hear me, good, okay. Start my time. To deliver an evaluation, well, I think the first thing you have to do is make sure that you can be a good listener, because the attention should be actually on the speaker. They have the floor. They are the ones that are delivering something that they've prepared, and it's usually around a certain topic. So I try to get into the understanding of what they're trying to present to us, and then really pick out one or two things that have touched me, or maybe something that is personal to me. And I think that it all has to do with first thanking the speaker for giving you something from their heart, something that they've really taken the time to prepare, and then also being sure that you're able to give them constructive criticism. Because as you said, we're all on a journey here, and it's not always the destination, finishing the speech, but it's how you got there. And maybe certain things that we could work on at all times in our growth in Toastmasters, in our public speaking, in our relationships with even friends and colleagues. I think it's very important to work on improving ourselves, because it's all part of this journey, growing and learning, and not being embarrassed if maybe you didn't find the right way to use your hands, or you didn't find the right words to express yourself. Maybe you're looking at your notes too much. But to show up and each time learn how to improve, and that's the whole background on my evaluation skills. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melanie. The next table topic is about table topics, and it goes to Lily. What would you recommend concentrating on when you hear the table topics question, that you can answer it smoothly?
The whole purpose of table topics is to stand up and speak for at least 1 minute and not more than 2.5. If you want to enter a contest, if you speak less than 1 minute or over 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you'll be disqualified. So that's your first goal when you are asked to speak on table topics. Of course, the next question is, what was the topic? What was the question? Oh, it was about table topics. So the topic itself is also important, and you will be evaluated on whether you have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, whether you are really sticking to the topic or not when you are in a contest. But that is actually of secondary importance when you're answering a table topic. You can just stand up and say anything, and as soon as you see that green flag, and I don't see the, okay, as soon as you see the green flag, then you can stop talking, you can sit down. But if you still want to say something, you can continue, and at 1.5 minutes you'll see the yellow sign, and at 2 minutes you'll see the red sign. And as soon as you see that red sign, that means you've got 30 seconds or you'll be disqualified. So I can relax, I've addressed the topic, I'm still within the time, and I've really enjoyed giving you my tips on table topics.
Thank you so much, Lily.
Thank you so much, Lily.
So much thank you went to you.
Thank you.
Now the floor is Maria Teresa's, and the question: what are the challenges of the Toastmaster of the day, and why is it worthy to do this job often?
Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. At this point in my Toastmaster career, I could probably do Toastmaster of the day in my sleep, because I know that you have to explain that there are 3 separate sections: prepared speeches, table topics, evaluation. But it's hard to be Toastmaster of the day if you don't know who's doing what. You know, I'm an amateur actress and I like to improvise, but I don't like improvising. I think Toastmaster of the day requires a little bit of work. What I used to do in the past, and I do it now too, I ask people who are doing something in a meeting, tell me something that the group doesn't know about you. And then in the course of my introduction, I was able to bring that in and not just say, I now invite Toastmaster Lily to come to the podium. That's boring after a while. Spice it up. Make it a little bit, you know, you want the people to be interested. Toastmaster of the day is not so difficult. I wholeheartedly recommend every single person to give it a try. Again, practice makes perfect. You will make mistakes. I've fallen on my face on many occasions, but you pick yourself up and you decide you're going to be better next time. After all, that's what this club is about. Self-improvement, empowering people to go outside of their comfort zone and be better people, better speakers, better leaders. Again, to those of you who have hesitated up to now, give it a try. You won't be disappointed. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Maria Teresa. And now comes the only technical question of this session, and the question is for Tristan. Do you like the concept of timing so precisely our speeches? Is it helpful for the outside of Toastmaster situations?
So,
Oh, now it's
timing is very important when we speak. And why is it so important? Because we have 2 ears and 1 tongue. And everybody has a tendency to speak too much. In meeting, in speeches, people drag on and don't cut to the essence of the message. So the timing and measuring our time in speeches, I think it's a great asset to learn from Toastmaster. And if you realize the 5 to 7 minutes speech, prepared speech, which is the standard length of a Toastmaster speech, is actually an ideal length of a speech if you have to do a presentation anywhere. And if you're part of a business meeting, you often realize that people are allotted 10 to 15 minutes often to make speeches. And actually, they could say the same in 5 to 7 minutes. And we have a tendency to go on too long in our speeches. And despite Jessica showing the green flag, I could stop here, but my natural tendency is to go on. As a human, I just cannot stop here like our Toastmaster Ines, who is also very known to go over time, like me. I have a tendency to drag on. So no, what is important and what I really appreciate to close is the ability to be short and to the point, and measuring our time is an excellent tool to ensure that we're sticking to it. So I think that's one of the most important roles and the most important things we can learn from Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Tristan. The next question is for an experienced Toastmaster, and I don't know who is that long in the club, but I judge Tom might be. So the question is, have you participated or watched any speech contest? Did it motivate you to work more on speeches or to take part in the next contest?
So, fellow Toastmasters, thank you for this question. I did participate in one competition, and of course it's a challenge because it's a different situation. At that time, it was already a virtual meeting, a virtual competition. And actually, I must say I more enjoyed the preparation inside the club. That was more fruitful than the actual competition. The competition itself, well, there I was, I think I was mainly nervous, and it's mainly something that you can practice, how to deal with nervousness, how to deal with kind of pressure. Whereas in the club, when practicing, when rehearsing, I could really get some tips how others find the speech was about. And that was for me where I gained more than in the actual event. Although without the event, you don't do the practice because people are sometimes lazy. And actually, I have to admit that I don't like that much of competition or even giving speeches if it's not really necessary. So it was a good practice to take me, as Maria Teresa would say, out of the comfort zone. And this way I can recommend it to all the others. After all, competitions are an important part of Toastmasters life. So I invite you whenever there is the next one, just to take part of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tom. And the last question of the session goes to Brian. What is your favorite role at the meeting?
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Okay. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. My favorite role is actually being in table topics, but that's not a role. My favorite role actually is doing table topics. I enjoy coming up with the questions and trying to phrase them such that it fits into the meeting. For example, we just had a speech. There may be some things out of the speech you can pull in. And sometimes before I came to the VIC, we used to have meetings when I was at Brookhaven where we would have a theme. So we had a theme for the day, then you can have a theme for the table topics. And I think it's an art to be able to tie the questions together and also to be able to introduce them in such a fashion that you don't take the introduction to be longer than the table topics. I've seen that happen sometimes when people lose the train of what's going on with the table topics by the time the person gets to start the table topic. So I think it's a fun role, and I really enjoy doing that. I haven't done it for a while. Maybe the next meeting I should sign up for.
Thank you so much, Brian. I'm sorry I stole your favorite role today, but as you said, you had a chance at the next meeting. This concludes the table topic session for today. The Toastmaster of the Day mentioned while introducing me that you can like or you can hate the question. Today, it didn't look like any of speakers hated it. So I hope everybody profited from the answers, and thank you so much again to you all for sharing your knowledge. I think we have a good chance to improve and improve and improve in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ivana, for Oops. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ivana, for a table topic session that's very close to my heart and for eliciting the kinds of answers that you do. And on the basis of that, Toastmaster Brian, I throw down the gauntlet. Will you be our table topics master at the next meeting? On the basis of your answer, please say yes. Okay, you have time to think about it. But again, it's time now for everybody, both online and in the room, to vote for the base table topic presentation. I'll give you a small recap of the people who spoke. Toastmaster Melanie was approached, Toastmaster Lily, myself, Toastmaster Tristan, Toastmaster Tom, and Toastmaster Brian. Please send your ballots in the room to Toastmaster Rena. And to those here online, you can forward them to me in the chat, and I will have a brief conversation with Rena, and we will announce at the end of the meeting the best table topic speaker. So now it's time to move on to the next section of a Toastmaster meeting, and that's the evaluation section. I personally think that's one of the most important elements of Toastmasters. Not that we just want to be critical for the sake of being critical, but giving people feedback that they can improve. Sometimes it's hard to listen to. I remember the first time in a Toastmaster meeting that I got criticism, I flushed a bright red like a tomato. And I don't think it went away for a while. And it was a little uncomfortable, but guess what? I learned something. That's the point of an evaluation. You take something away from it. So the capable person who will be leading us through the evaluation section is none other than our immediate past president, and soon to be departing Tristan. Would you please take the floor and lead us through the evaluation section?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. And I have also flushed the first time you haven't done an evaluation on one of my speech. And actually, I still flush each time you do one on one of my speeches, because you're always to the point. So to start this evaluation session, I would like to turn to our first evaluator, who will be evaluating the speech of Toastmaster Pinar, and this is Toastmaster Lily. Over to you, Toastmaster Lily.
Tina, I really enjoyed your speech, and it awoke a few memories of perhaps the speech that you were working on. I couldn't remember the details, and I didn't have the evaluation that you got at that time. So my feedback for your presentation today, I felt you are becoming much more fluent in your presentations. It was wonderful to hear you, to see you, and your topic was also very inspiring. I felt that you could have separated the names, the people that you told us about, either with a list or somehow perhaps numbering each of the women that you spoke of. You named the women, and I recognized you spoke about the mother of Marie Curie, of Thomas Edison, and then the name of the lady who adopted the 30 babies I didn't quite catch. That may have been due to the vicissitudes of the technical issues that we are having when more than one microphone is turned on. Then you talked about Irina Sandler, and I didn't catch the name of the nurse who had 3 children. I think it was Phyllis, and I think that was your mother. Somehow the details got a little bit lost. You had such a beautiful topic. I really loved the presentation, and even the highlight, the final point, crescendoing into that you are expecting and becoming a mother for the second time. And I felt with this speech, thinking and organizing your speech, as I mentioned, perhaps number the women that you are mentioning as you're discussing their characteristics, and perhaps at the very beginning just mentioning a couple of points about motherhood, talking about the mothers in history and what they had in common. I think I'll leave it there, because I think you really did a wonderful job, and I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you, Pina.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lily.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lily, for your evaluation, and Pinar. And now I will turn to our timer, Toastmaster Jessica, to give her report on the times.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tristan. I'm not going to lie, this has been a stressful role for me today, mostly because of where I'm sitting and the multiple microphones in the room. But I hope I was able to clearly designate the times for all the speakers. And I'm very proud to announce that everyone was within the time limits. So congratulations to all the speakers. The specific times were 6 minutes and 31 seconds for Pinar, 2 minutes and 47 seconds for Lily's evaluation. Then in the table topics, Melanie spoke for 1 minute, 28 seconds. Lily spoke for 1 minute, 36 seconds. Maria Teresa spoke for 1 minute, 21 seconds. Tristan spoke for 1 minute, 39 seconds. Tom spoke for 1 minute, 14 seconds. And Brian spoke for 1 minute and 13 seconds. So congratulations again, and I turn it back to Toastmaster Tristan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jessica, for your evaluation. And now I will turn to our accounter, Toastmaster Rena.
What a high tech. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guest. So I was counting and repetition and gaps. For Maria Teresa, I count 1, Tristan 4, Melissa nothing, Lily I didn't hear anything, Pina 5 times, Ivona 7 times, Lily for the table topics I counted 2, Thomas 1, Brian nothing, Jessica when you give the timing right at the beginning you said two times This ends my report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rina. And now I would like to turn to Toastmaster Melissa, our grammarian, to give us a report on the vicissitude of this meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tristan. So indeed, all the technical vicissitudes, I must say that in between the echo, not hearing anything at all, and having all the screens frozen, I experienced anything you can imagine. This brings then the good news is that I was not able to record or witness any instance of the wrong usage of the English grammar, because sometimes I could not hear anything at all. In terms of the use of the word vicissitudes, I heard it once from Lily and from Tristan also once now. And I know that there is, Maria Teresa sent me an email saying there is a new award. It's called the Grammarian Crown that goes for the most impressive expression of the thing that impressed me more in terms of grammar. Since I could not hear everything, the crown will go to Melanie, and it's the crown for the backgrounds because I really love the mountains. And so I changed a little bit, but since anyway today everything seems to be a little bit odd, at least this was, of course, thank you, Melanie. This is the most inspirational thing ever, the best background ever I've seen in the Toastmasters meeting, and so the crown goes to you. And this completes the report of the grammarian for the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Melissa. And we also heard Toastmaster Pinar using the word of the day in her speech that she managed to bake in. So kudos to her as well to have used that word. Let me now just give a few points regarding the evaluation of this overall meeting. I think the choice of the word of the day was a very good premonition of what that meeting was. Starting from the technical aspect of this meeting, where we struggled early on in the morning with Tom to try to figure out how we're going to manage the hybrid meeting. And hopefully we had Alma who helped us at the last minute. And then in the course of the meeting, we suddenly lost the sound and of the room. So we had to juggle a bit between the phone and the computer, but overall, we can see that we have challenge we were faced with challenge from a technical point of view. And it's also the second time we do an hybrid meeting. And for the first time I'm joining the meeting from the inside of the room, it's actually quite challenging also to monitor a meeting from an hybrid perspective. Actually, if you're in your room and if there's a lot of speeches on the screen, so it's kind of an interesting experience, but I think I prefer a full in-person or full hybrid, no? If you ask my personal evaluation of the meeting. I think the word of the day was also a very good characteristic for the planning of this meeting, with the roles being taken, and we could hear from Toastmaster Maria Teresa in her introduction, and then later on in her table topic intervention, and as in many meetings, we could hear her view about the importance of registering for the meeting ahead of it. And that's another things we are facing. Ultimately, we fill up all the roles as part of the meeting, but we have to take mind of it. I thought Ivana managed a very interesting topic of going through the role. It's the first time I hear a table topic on this subject, and I thought was very good. But it's maybe also good to use other people who had no roles, to select them to actually speak. So there's an opportunity for every member to speak from that perspective. And on that note, I would like to complete, this completes my report, and I return the control of the meeting to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Maria Teresa.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tristan. You let everybody off easy. You let them off easy. I wish people would not say thank you so much. I've mentioned this before. Again, it's we who thank you for what you contribute. And don't forget the titles: Madam Table Topics Master, Mr. General Evaluator, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. This is the proper way that you give the control. You bounce the ball back to the person who's leading the meeting. Other than that, I think we did have some technical difficulties. I was a bit distracted. Plus, I was a bit disappointed that I didn't hear some of the things. They were garbled or there was interference. But again, we're learning along the way. And that's, after all, what it's all about. So it looks like hybrid is the future for the moment. I miss seeing you all in person. I don't know. Can you see us that are on Zoom? Do you have a screen there that you can see our faces? Ooh, okay. All right. Have to put on makeup next time. In any event, I do appeal to everyone. Please sign up and take roles. If you, again, are apprehensive, talk to your mentor. Talk to me. I'd be glad to coach you. After all, it's practice. And if you don't do it, if you don't step in, I'm basically, I think, going to instigate a rule that no member of the executive committee can be Toastmaster of the Day or General Evaluator for upcoming meetings. And let's see where we go from there. In any event, it was a great pleasure to have us on Zoom and you in the meeting room present. Unfortunately, I only got 2 votes for table topics out of the 9 people who could vote. So I don't want to declare a winner. I just declare everybody in this room, in Zoom and in A0671 is a winner because you're a Toastmaster. Don't you ever forget that. So I return control of our meeting to our presiding officer. Point of order from Tristan. Yeah. Do we have a table topics winner in the room? Tristan, were you going to announce something?
Yeah.
Had Rena given you something?
Hello. Can you hear me, Maria Teresa?
I can.
Yeah, it's just wanted to say that Rena just spoke and she counted the vote inside the room. And she also declared that everybody was a winner.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
that's, you know, it goes into your perspective of thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and everybody is a winner. So I think that's
certainly you all get the gold. You all get the gold. But unlike the Olympics where you're spectators, please be active in our club. We need you. We honestly need you. It's not just the executive committee running the club. It's our membership. Our membership is what makes us strong and what makes us thrive. So I encourage everybody, please, 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 please come forward and sign up and take roles. With that, I return control of the meeting to our vacationing Madam President. I've never heard of getting the grammarian's crown for a location. I'll have to think of some fancy background now for my Maria Teresa. In any event, I can't hear it, but I love your laugh. Your laugh is contagious. Let's all keep laughing. Madam President, Toastmaster Melanie.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maria Teresa. I was just laughing because I thought you liked my background. If I were to spin my camera around, I think you'd like it even more.
Ooh.
But I won't say why. Let's just say I just finished a workout and somebody else too. So on that note, I think that we do have already on the 10th of August, our next meeting. We're going to go for this hybrid again. I will be in person in the VIC to help out. And learning along the way, that's going to be our word, our sentence of the day as well, because it all is a learning process. And I think we're doing fine. If you're on vacation and you even just want to take a small role and you have a computer with you, it's really fun just to break away 1 hour to join us. And I think we have our topics master for August 10th already, Brian, if you're around, because it's apparently one of your favorite things to do at a Toastmasters meeting. So I put your name down, Brian, since I have actual access to the, yes, Maria Teresa? You want to say something
Yeah, I
before
just have a point of order. I forgot to thank the people who did the technical preparations. I think you're unsung heroes. We here on Zoom don't see anything that went into your preparation. I'm sure it was not necessarily easy. I think we should give a huge round of applause to the people who provided the technical support at today's meeting.
Yes, I can agree to that. Maria Teresa, thank you for bringing that up. We're very grateful for those that are present in the meeting in AO6 that can connect everything. And I hope you're there for me on August 10th to help out. So on that note, I want you all to enjoy the rest of the day, whether you're home, whether you're in the office, the VIC. I don't think anyone's in Cybersdorf. And I'm going to enjoy my vacation. All the best. Ciao.
Don't you ask the guest anything?
Thank you. Thank you. Past president, yes. There's a guest in the room, I believe. Is it Alma again? And someone else I see to the left. Could you pass your phone to them and let them speak?
Okay, I'll pass it first to Benjamin and Alma. They have to speak. You have to say something. That's part of the exercise.
Thank you. Can you hear me? It's good. Yeah, well, thank you very much to everyone for this session. I guess I got to know how those sessions are working, because last year when I was here, it was the interview preparations. So it was a completely different structure of those meetings. But I'm ready to jump into out of my comfort zone. And yeah, I take the word of Maria Teresa to have a mentor. Maybe I'll drop you an email because I have some more questions, how to use this word of the day and other topics. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Benjamin.
I ask,
And then I turn over to Alma, because she needs to speak also.
Can I ask who this was?
Maria Teresa speaks.
The person
Maria Teresa
that
speaks
spoke?
afterwards.
Okay.
Because we are muted still here. Yes, despite some of technical difficulties, I'm glad I'm here for the second meeting, and I will definitely consider to become the regular member. So I look forward for our next meeting on 10th of August.
Tristan, can I ask who was the gentleman that spoke?
Benjamin.
Benjamin, I could kiss you. Even though you're not a member yet, you signed up on EasySpeak because you had been a guest several months ago. Bravo, bravo, bravo. And to, I believe it's Alma, if you want to become a member, I will put you in contact with our membership vice president, Toastmaster Inez, who unfortunately is not present today, but she would be the person who could give you information about joining the club.
So officially now, thank you everyone for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, wherever you may be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye. Ciao.